The Art Education Department offers summer institutes for our graduate students in the field of art education and other fields of education so that they may develop themselves further as artists and also develop curriculum for K through 12 classrooms. This past summer, we worked with the Physical Science Department and specifically with Dr. Aaron Crail to develop a program that would illuminate for students the ways in which art and science cross boundaries.
We taught our course at the Chincoteague Bay Field Station, and that's located near Wallops Island in Virginia. This was an incredible opportunity to take our students off-site and be able to experience field research both in the arts and in the sciences. The theme of our course was boundaries, looking at the boundary between art and science, the boundary between water and land, what is the boundary between human and nature, what is the boundary between bathymetry and topography, and we really explored how those things come about both from a scientific perspective and an artistic perspective.
One of the key components of our collaboration was also breaking boundaries of the disciplines here on campus, because sometimes we can get stuck in our classrooms and think that what we study happens in that space, and we really wanted to break boundaries and have students see the way in which learning is happening all around us, and art and science is a great example of that, because art and science continuously pose questions and follow curiosity.
To prepare for our time at Wallops Island, the students participated in an online component that happened prior to our arrival. This involved reading both about the art topics and the science topics, being introduced to the environments where we would be studying, and some of the artists who've engaged those environments in different ways.
One of the focuses for pre-K through 12 art educators is using contemporary artists in the classroom because it builds connections to the lived experience of students. So that was one of our focuses. The reason for this is that contemporary artists illuminate stories of what's happening around us, and one of those is topics related to social justice, specifically humans' impact on the environment. Wallops Island was a perfect place for art educators and science educators together to think about these issues.
At Wallops Island, we were able to explore several environments. One of them was an old oyster village, and this is an area that used to be a fishing village and is now being overtaken by rising sea level. Another environment that we were on was the barrier island of Wallops Island itself. That allowed us to explore a shore face where the waves transition over the surface. Students could look at the layering in the sand, and the organisms that live there, the material that's washed up, how the sand behaves in the waves. We also took a boat trip and were able to look at the sediment and the organisms that changed as you moved from fresh water to salt water.
In order for students to really see how contemporary artists can become a part of their classroom, we actually had students engage in making art on the beach, using objects that were collected from the beach, using the research workbooks as a way to develop ideas from these objects, and then these became a catalyst for speaking to environmental issues based on the topics we had been exploring over the several days that we were there.
I think one of the most powerful things that this course does is really explore the underlying creativity in art and science. And when you look at the disciplines of both art and science, they're trying to help our future teachers and current teachers enable discovery. And both art and science are driven by discovery. And as we have worked together, we've really been able to explore this idea of how do we help students become discoverers of new knowledge, of new art, of new ideas.
I think the fundamental reason for bringing art and science together is about curiosity and continuously posing questions. And as Aaron and I worked together, it was continuously about asking our students to keep asking questions.
Through this program at Kutztown University, we're really able to drive new knowledge generation and new ways of communicating. Learning about art helps scientists become better communicators, and learning about science helps our art students become better artists.